This is a book called GoodWill, and it's written by a friend of mine, Julie Cador, and it's illustrated by her mother, Sandy Aubrey. And it's about life in COVID-19 times. So look at that little elephant. GoodWill, life in COVID-19 times. Will was a happy elephant. He lived in a tropical forest along with his elephant family. They had many friends in their community: antelope, cheetahs, lemurs, rhinoceros, snakes, hippopotami, and zebras. He went to a school that allowed all kinds of animals. He loved learning new things and especially loved playing with his classmates. You find Will? Will's family took good care of their health. They ate small plants, bushes, fruit, twigs, tree bark, and roots. They exercised every day and visited the doctor yearly. They also loved to have friends over to their house. Will's best friend was Laci, an antelope. Laci was in his classes at school and also lived nearby with her family. Last year, in the middle of 3rd grade, a virus came to Will's community. School shut down, and he stopped seeing his friends. Will's parents worked from home and only went to the store when they needed to. Look, it says Jungle School closed. Poor little Will. Will felt confused and scared. His teacher gave him all his schoolwork to do at home. In the beginning, it wasn't all that bad. He did projects around the house with his dad, and he helped his mom plant a garden. His big sister helped him with his science schoolwork, and he was lazy in the morning when he wanted to be. Oh, they have a garden. Weeks went by, and Will grew tired of staying at home. He looked outside and saw some of his friends playing. Steve the snake ran around with Lila the lemur. When Will asked to go play, his parents shook their heads, hugged him, and said, "Not yet." When Will was finally allowed to leave his house, his parents made him wear a mask. It was hot and itchy. Not everyone he saw wore a mask. He wondered if there was something wrong with him. When fall came, the new school year began. His mom told him he was allowed to go to school, but things would not be the same. She said that he would only go to class on certain days, and there would be fewer kids in each class. She explained that all the teachers and students should be wearing masks, and she said kids wouldn't be allowed to play closely with one another. "But Will," she said, "that doesn't mean your friends love you any less." Will felt anxious and did not want to start the school year. Not only would he have a new teacher, but also new rules. Once again, he wondered why this was happening. Will I get in trouble if I break those new rules, he wondered. On the first day of school, a sweet giraffe with long eyelashes, wearing a mask covered with birds, greeted him when he was dropped off at school. She said, "Hi, Will. I'm Miss Poppy. I can't wait to get to know you. I have a lot of fun activities planned for us this year." And although she didn't high-five him or hug him like previous year's teachers had, he felt like she liked him. When the school day started, the classroom felt big because there weren't many desks. The children were told to stay a giraffe's neck length away from one another. That was easy for the teacher to measure since she was a giraffe. When one of his classmates touched another kid or moved their mask aside, Miss Poppy would gently remind that student of the safety rules. Will quickly felt joy in seeing his friends. They looked the same, but also different. During snack time, he asked Laci what she did over the summer. Laci told him that she went to visit friends in the next town over, and she even got to play in an amusement park. "What did you do, Will?" she asked. Will turned red and he panicked. How should he answer? His parents didn't let him out of the house most of the summer. How is it possible that Laci got to do so much? Again, he wondered, is there something wrong with me? Luckily, Miss Poppy cut their conversation short by ending snack time and beginning a writing lesson. Miss Poppy started the lesson with an activity. She said, "Stand up if your parents worked from home." Most of the class stood up. After they sat down, she said, "Stand up if you missed out on a sports season." And most of the class stood up. She said, "Stand up if you took a trip this summer." Less than half the class stood up, and everyone looked around wondering if this was good or bad. She said, "Stand up again if your parents make you wear masks out of the house." Again, only about half the class stood up. The students were all looking around, comparing their once similar lives to their current lives. The last question she asked was, "Stand up if your parents love and would do anything to protect you." And the entire class stood up. Everyone's eyes lit up. Miss Poppy told us that all of our parents are doing their best to keep us safe. But, she said, it doesn't always look the same in each household. Each animal's life has different details, but the theme is the same. Will asked, "What theme is that?" She turned around and wrote on the board, "Being safe and loved in new situations." Then she wrote, "Goodwill." Again, Will turned red because he thought she was talking about him. A few of his classmates giggled, and she smiled softly at him and continued. She said, "Goodwill is when an animal's attitude and actions are driven by a common good." Then she told us no matter what a friend's actions are during this time, we can believe goodwill. So whether one friend is allowed to come over and play and another friend wears a mask, we are all trying our best. Just as our bodies look different and our voices sound different, our goodwill can also look different. But we love our friends no matter what. The class completed their writing assignments about their own goodwill, and then each read them aloud. After hearing the stories, they felt closer. At the end of the day, when Will was walking home, Laci joined him. Even though her face was covered with a mask, her smile looked the same. She told him a joke. "What do elephants and trees have in common?" Will gave up, and she said, "They both have big trunks." They laughed, and Laci said she was glad Will was her best friend. When Will asked why, she said, "It's because you are good, Will, like in the lesson." He felt proud that his name was Will and that their teacher brought them back together. Look how happy they look walking along the path. He also felt with help from his family, friends, and school, he could get through anything. Okay, so let's read the dedication and then we'll go back. That was there. So this is dedicated to all children growing up during a pandemic. Make meaningful friendships and assume goodwill. And let's read a little bit about the author and the illustrator. Julie was born in Falmouth, Massachusetts. She moved to Florida in 2005 to attend Stetson University, where she earned her bachelor's and master's degrees in education. Julie teaches elementary school at St. Barnabas Episcopal School. She and her husband Joe have 3 sons and a Labradoodle and reside in DeLand, Florida. After writing the first draft of her book, she knew just who she wanted to illustrate it, her talented mother. Now about the illustrator. Sandy was born in Texas and lived multiple places growing up. After raising her 3 children on Cape Cod, Sandy moved to Florida. She worked at Stetson University and retired recently. Her many blessings include her 95-year-old mother, her amazing sister, her 9 grandchildren, and their wonderful parents. Art is her favorite hobby. And that is GoodWill Life in COVID-19 times. So this is on Amazon, and you ought to get it because, man, you can see the pictures so much more clearly in person. I'm sure it's hard to see the pictures on the video. What a wonderful book. Thank you for writing that, Julie.